So I could particularly welcome councillors this morning and thank you for your attendance this morning at the mayoral prayer breakfast, 30th year, raising over $300,000 for the community with various beneficiaries. So thank you very much for your attendance this morning. It was, by all reports, very well received, so thank you. This meeting is obviously open to the public. It is the Planning and Development Committee meeting for the month of May. It will be live streamed, or at least will be recorded at some point when Hayden is working through this, and we appreciate you, Hayden, for working through it. Acknowledging CEO Brian, the General Manager Dr Nicola, others in the room, and particularly those in the gallery, thank you for your presence today. It's very much valued indeed. A reminder, councillors, to click the Join Meeting in Resolve, which we've worked through to get to this point. So hopefully we're all on board. If at any time you have concerns, Wendy is in the room and will provide some assistance one-on-one as we proceed with the meeting. Also acknowledged today we have Connie's first day here. So Connie, you've experienced a resilience measure this morning to work through things that crop up, and that's the daily life of council, and I'm sure many individuals who'll be watching it online. So we begin, councillors, with item number 1, which is to acknowledge the Aboriginal parties whose songlines traverse these lands we meet on today, the Western Waka Waka, the Guyabal and Jarrawa peoples, and pay respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, for they hold the knowledge, rich traditions and bold ambitions of Australia's First Peoples. Just noting, Jason, you've set your machine up there. Is that via a live stream? Recording? Thank you, Jason. That's great. I appreciate that. That's another backup plan as well. Councillors, we move to item number 2, which is the attendance, including apologies, leave of absence and declarations of conflict of interest. Apologies other than Councillor Carl haven't been received, and we're all present. We do note the absence of Councillor Bill Carl, and there's no resolution required as that was already taken place. If there are any other leaves of absence to be granted, that will take place at the ordinary meeting in May, which is the 28th of May, not next Tuesday. We do have some declarations of declarable conflicts of interest to work through, councillors, and you should have, I hope, your sheets in which we can work through these. And I have an order in which to go through. Is Councillor Edwina, then Councillor Rebecca, Councillor James, Councillor Kerry, Councillor Tim, Councillor Melissa, Councillor Carroll, and then myself. So we'll start with Councillor Edwina Farquhar.
Thank you, Mayor. In relation to item number 5, Planning, Environment, Court Appeals and Compensation Claims of April 2024, in relation to matter 2, I requested it be minuted that I have declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 4, the development application for a development permit for material change of use impact extension to educational establishment located at 46 to 50, 51 and 53 Wirrawira Street, East Toowoomba, at the special meeting of Council of 29 November 2023, and of my decision to leave the meeting while the matter was discussed and voted on. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will leave the meeting while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you, Councillor Edwina. Councillor Rebecca.
Thanks, Mayor. This is in relation to item number 5, confidential planning and environment court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning, environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024, at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on the 13th of February 2024. And in relation to matter number 2, I request that it be minuted that I declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 4, at the special meeting of Council on the 29th of November 2023, and of my decision to leave the meetings while the matters were discussed and voted on. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will leave the meeting while the matters are discussed and voted on.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Rebecca. Councillor James.
Thanks, Mayor. My conflict is item 5, confidential planning and environment court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, the confidential planning Planning and Environment Court Appeals and Compensation Claims, January 2024. At the Planning and Development Committee meeting of 13th February 2024, and of my decision to leave the meeting while the matter was discussed and voted on, as the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will leave the meeting while this matter is discussed and voted on.
Thanks, Councillor James. Councillor Kerry.
Thanks, Chair. In relation to matter number 2, I request that it be minuted that I declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number MCU 2022-3590, development application for a development permit for a material change of use impact extension to educational establishment located at 4650 5153 Werra Street, East Toowoomba, at the special meeting of Council 29th of November 23, and of Council's decision to allow me to participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kerry. Councillor Tim.
Thank you, Chair. In relation to item number 5, confidential planning environment, court appeals and compensation claims. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I declared a declarable conflict of interest related to item number 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims of January 24 at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on 13th of February 2024, and in relation to item number 2, I request it be minuted that I declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 4, material change of use 2022-3590, development application for a development permit for a material change of use impact extension to educational establishment located at 46 to 50 and 51 and 53 Werra Street, East Toowoomba, at the special meeting of Council on 29th of November, and of Council's decision to allow me to participate in both these decisions about the matters, including by voting on the matters. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will participate in the decision about the matters, including by voting on these matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tim. Councillor Melissa.
Item 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024, at the Planning and Development Committee meeting of 13th of February 2024, and of Council's decision to allow me to participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter.
Thank you very much, Councillor Melissa. Councillor Carroll.
Thank you, Chair. This is in relation also to item number 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I have declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024, at the Planning and Development Committee meeting of the 13th of February 2024, and of Council's decision to allow me to participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carroll. I too have a declarable conflict of interest at item number 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I declare declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024. The Planning and Development Committee meeting on 13 February 2024, and on my decision to leave the meeting while the matter was discussed and voted on. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will leave the meeting while the matter is discussed and voted on. Councillors, that concludes those that I've been noted for of the declarable conflict of interest. Are there any others anyone would like to raise? If there is anything that crops up through the course of the committee meeting for planning and development, please, if it's yours or you feel another councillor may have a conflict, please indicate that to the chair. I do appreciate that. And we will deal with that as well. It might be a little cumbersome, but we'll deal with that when we get to item number 5 as well in the open session prior to closing, where we'll need to appoint a chair for a particular part of that meeting. We then move to item number 3, and just confirmation, councillors, and if I could through to Kirsten, we now have audio on the live stream. That's correct. So there's audio on the live stream as well, and Jason's of course recording this as well. So Hayden is troubleshooting to get the videos up as well, just so that you're aware. So we move to item number 3, councillors, which is the Regional Development Statistics Report for March 2024. I'll call on Dr. Nicola, the GM, to provide that report. Welcome, Dr. Nicola.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning, councillors. I'm pleased to provide the Regional Development Statistics Report for the month of March. In brief, the March 2024 figures for development applications received are above the monthly average and above the number for February. The number of development applications approved in March is also above the monthly average and above the numbers for February. The total number of types of building applications approved in the regions for March is similar to February 2024. However, overall, there remains that declining trend line for approval numbers. The combined value of approved building applications during the month of March 2024 is just under $59 million, which represents a significant increase on the month of February, which was just under $49 million. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Nicola, very much indeed. Any questions, councillors, in regard to the report, the Regional Development Statistics Report for March? If there are no questions, councillors, we do have a motion before us. The motion is that the report of the General Manager Planning and Development Group on the Regional Development Statistics for March 2024 be noted by Council. Someone to move by Councillor James, seconded by Councillor Edwina. Those in favour? That motion's carried unanimously. Sorry, Kirsten, I was going a bit quick there. James and Edwina, and carried unanimously. So, councillors, before we move to item number 4, which is the closing of the meeting, we've only just dealt with the conflicts of interest, and therefore, with both myself and the Deputy Mayor out of the room for item 1 and Deputy Mayor out for items 1 and 2, it will then require, as we know, the Mayor or Deputy Mayor, without need for vote, would chair the meetings. However, with the Deputy Mayor out for both and I'm out for the first one, we need to then call for nominations for a councillor to chair item 5.1, so that the first item of that, and then I'm allowed to come back into the room after that one. So can I have a call for a nomination to chair that part of the meeting? Call Councillor Rebecca. Councillor Melissa, who was seconded for that nomination. Seconded by Councillor Trevor. Those in favour? That motion's carried unanimously. So, councillors, just by way of making sure that we are doing what we are doing, this first one, where Councillor, after we go to closed, Councillor Melissa will take the chair, Councillors Rebecca, Councillor James and myself will leave the room. Following that, I'll come back into the room, and then we move to the second item where Councillor Edwina, Councillor Rebecca will stay out of the room, Councillor Kerry and Councillor Tim will stay, and James, you'll be back in the room at that point as well for item number 2. Are we all clear where we go? Okay, so item number 4, councillors, is moved to closed session. Could I have someone move? Moved by Councillor James, seconded by Councillor Rebecca. Those in favour? That motion's carried. Councillor Melissa, I'll hand over to you. We'll just wait for that to go off. The meeting, and then we'll swap over again. Yeah. No, you'll be going again. But you'll be able to do it when Melissa takes back over from the... Some, anyway. Some, yeah. So, a bit unfair actually. It's not. It's gone the wrong way.
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's
fine.
all good. It wasn't my heels, people. I have no heels on today. Okay, so now we're just voting on 5.1. Okay. Thank you. We will now vote on motion 5.1. Yes, 5.1. That matter 1 of the confidential report on Planning and Environment Court appeals on the compensation claims for April 2024 be noted by Council. Moved by Councillor Edwina, seconded by Councillor Carroll. All those in favour? Passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. And so can Councillor Edwina leave and Councillor Rebecca to stay out and the other councillors to...
Thank you, Councillor Melissa. Very good. So we then move to the item 5.2 or 5.2 it is. So moved, if someone moves the motion of receiving that report, moved by Councillor Melissa, seconded by Councillor Trevor. Those in favour? Motion's carried. We can call councillors back in now. Well done, councillors. We worked through that pretty well, actually. Welcome back. And councillors, so therefore item number 6 of the meeting is to conclude the meeting, and thank you for your attendance. So councillors, by way of process now, we need to exit the meeting. What's the correct word? Leave. Leave the meeting. And then we'll go to the next meeting, which is Water and Waste, which is of which that we join. Okay, so we'll do that now. That meeting is closed. And thank you for attendance. Thank you, Dr. Nicola. Thank you, Carrie. Others in the room, and particularly those in the gallery, thank you for your presence today. It's very much valued indeed. I remind councillors to click the join meeting in resolve, which we've worked through to get to this morning. So hopefully we're all on board. If at any time you have concerns, Wendy is in the room and will provide some assistance one-on-one as we proceed with the meeting. Also acknowledged today we have Connie's first day here, so Connie is experienced representative to work through these problems, and that's a daily life of council, and I'm sure many individuals are watching. So we begin council with item number 1, which is to acknowledge the Aboriginal parties who signed the first land we meet on today. The Western Waikato, the Guidebook, the Jarrell people, and pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. They hold the knowledge, rich traditions, and gold traditions of Australia's first peoples. Just noting, Jason, you've set your machine up where it's out for a live stream. Recording. Thank you, Jason, that's right. Appreciate that. So another backup needed as well. Councillors, we move to item number 2, which is the attendance of the apologies, leave of absence, and declarations of conflict of interest. Apologies other than Councillor Carr have been received. We're all present. We do note the absence of Councillor Will Carr that has made the solution required as a sorting taking place. If there are any other leaves of absence to be granted, that will take place in May, which is the 28th of May, next Tuesday. We do have some declarations of declarable conflicts of interest to work through, councillors, and you should have notable sheets to work through these. I have an order which to go through. It's Councillor Edwina, Councillor Rebecca, Councillor James, Councillor Kerry, Councillor Tim, Councillor Lisa, Councillor Carroll, and then myself. So we can start with Councillor Edwina.
In relation to item number 5, planning and environment appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter 2, I request that you mention that I have declared declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 4, development application for development permit for material use impact extension to education establishment located at 46 to 50, 5153 Murray Street, East Wollongong, at the special meeting of council 29 November 2023, and representing to lead the meeting when that was discussed and voted on. As relevant circumstances have not changed, I will lead the meeting on that was discussed.
Thank you, Councillor Edwina. Councillor Rebecca.
this is in relation to item number 5, confidential planning, planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, a request that it be minuted, I declare the declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning, planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024, at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on the 13th of February 2024. And in relation to matter number 2, I request that it be minuted that I declare the declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 4. At the special meeting of Council on 29th of November 2023, and a decision to leave the meetings while matters were discussed and voted on. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will leave the meeting while matters were discussed and voted on.
Thanks. Okay. Councillor Rebecca, Councillor Jones.
Thanks, Dan. Item 5, confidential planning, planning environment appeals and compensation claims April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, a request that be met in the declarable also in relation to item number 5, confidential planning, planning environment appeals and compensation claims January 2024. The Planning and Development Committee meeting 13th February 2024, and my decision to leave the meeting while that was discussed and voted on. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, please get involved as well. He's discussed and voted on.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Councillor Kerry.
Thanks. I'm glad you remember the matter to address this community. Extending the agenda because so much of what MCU 2, 3, 4,
Yeah, that's it.
Special meetings that the council council decision around this decision right now, including the relevant circumstances not changed, this decision is now
Councillor Kerry. Councillor Tim.
Thank you, Chair. In relation to item number 5, confidential planning, planning environment, court compensation claims. In relation to matter number 1, a request that be amended by declaring declarable conflict of interest. Relating to item number 5, confidential planning, planning environment, court appeals and compensation claims of January 24. Planning and Development Committee meeting on 13th February 2024. And in relation to item number 2, I request that be amended by declaring declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 4. Here change of use 2023-359 development application permit for a material change of use impact extension to education establishment located at 4650 and 5153 East Wollongong at the special meeting of Council on 29th November, and of Council's decision to allow me to participate in both these decisions about matters, including by voting on matters as the relevant circumstances have not changed. I'll participate in the decision about the matters including by voting.
Thank you, Councillor Tim. Councillor Marcel.
Item 5, confidential planning, planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I declare the declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning, planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024. At the Planning and Development Committee meeting 13th of February 2024, and of Council's decision to allow me to participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter. As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Gabriel.
Thank you, Chair. This is in relation also to item number 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minuted that I have declared a declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning and environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024. At the Planning and Development Committee meeting of 13th of February 2024, and of Council's decision to allow me to participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter. As As the relevant circumstances have not changed, I will participate in the decision about the matter, including by voting on the matter.
Thank you, Councillor Carroll. I too have a declarable conflict of interest. Item number 5, confidential planning, environment, court appeals of compensation claims, April 2024. In relation to matter number 1, I request that it be minted by declarable conflict of interest in relation to item number 5, confidential planning, environment, court appeals and compensation claims, January 2024. Planning and Development Committee meeting on 13 February 2024, and on my decision to leave the meeting on the matter was discussed and voted on. As the relevant circumstances haven't changed, I will leave the meeting while the matter is discussed and voted on. Councillors, that concludes those who have been noted for the declarable conflict of interest. Are there any others? If there is anything that crops up through the course of the committee meeting for planning and development, please, if it's yours or you feel another council may have a conflict, please indicate to the chair. We will appreciate it. And we will deal with that as well. It might be the council, but we'll deal with that when we get to item 5 as well. We can go to the session. We will need to the chair for a particular part of that meeting. We then move to item number 3, and just confirmation, councillors, that if I put through to cursor, we now have audio on the live screen. That's correct. So there's audio on the live screen as well. Jason's recording this as well. So Hayden is troubleshooting to get the videos as well. So we move to item number 3, councillors, which is the Regional Development Statistics Report for March 2024. Call on Colin GM to
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm pleased to remind the Regional Development Statistics Report for March. In brief, the March 2024 figures for development applications received are above the monthly average and above the month of February. The number of development applications approved in March is also above the monthly average and above the numbers of February. The total number of types of building applications approved in the region for March is similar to February 2024. However, overall, their plans that remain trend line for approved numbers. The combined value of approved building applications during the month of March 2024 is just under $59 million, which represents a significant increase on the budget of February, which was just under $49 million. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks to the collaborator today. Any questions, councillors, in regard to the report, the Regional Development Statistics Report for March? If there are no questions, councillors, we do have a motion before us. The motion is that the report of the General Manager of Planning and Development Group on Regional Development Statistics for March 2024 be noted by council. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Wendy. Those in favour? Motion is carried unanimously. Councillors, before we move to item 4, which is the closing of the meeting, we've only just dealt with the conflicts of interest, and therefore, with both myself and the Deputy Mayor out of the room for item 1 and the Deputy Mayor out for items 1 and 2, it will then require, as we know, the Mayor or Deputy Mayor, without need for vote, will chair the meetings, and with the Deputy Mayor out for both and I'm out for the first one, we need to then call for nominations for that councillor to chair item 5, week 1, so that the first item of that, and then I'll need to come back in the room after that. So we have called for nomination to chair that part of the meeting. Councillor Becker. Councillor Lister, second for that nomination. Second by Councillor Trevor. Those in favour? That motion is carried unanimously. So councillors, just by way of making sure that we are doing what we are doing, this first one, Councillor, I'm going to go and close. Councillor Lister will take the chair. Councillors Becker, Councillor James and myself will leave the room. Following that, I'll come back into the room and we move to the second item where Councillor Edwina, Councillor Becker will stay in the room. Councillor Gary and Councillor Tess and staff James will be back in the room. That point as well. Okay, so item number 4, councillors, have moved to closed session. Got someone moved by Councillor James, seconded by Councillor Rebecca. Those in favour? That motion's carried. In the views, wait for them to go. Okay.
Not yet, but audio's coming.
Ready? This is actually a committee meeting, it's the first meeting on the day. Coming back, so we'll go through this process that we had. Well, good morning, councillors. Welcome to the Water Waste Committee for the month of May. Welcome to all of those in the gallery. Thank you very much for your attendance. It's very much appreciated. And those that will be listening online. If you're online at the moment, notice there isn't any audio. There's a couple of technical issues there. There is audio, there'll be no video. Whereas if there is no audio, actually, so there is audio, there is no video at this point. That may be rectified during the course of the meeting, because this being live stream. Welcome to the CEO, Joe, thank you for being here for that particular items that you had. Remind council to be joining the meeting, resolve. And obviously, the first item, therefore, is to acknowledge the traditional parties, Aboriginal parties, whose songlines traverse these lands from meeting on the day, just like the Golden and charitable peoples. Pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. They hold the knowledge, rules, traditions, and bold ambitions of Australia's future people. The second item for today is the attendance, including apologies, leave of absence, declaration of conflicts of interest. There are no apologies, however, we are noting the leave of absence to Councillor Bill Rinald, and there's no resolution required. As is the case which each of these committee meetings, you may not call the leave of absence that takes place in the ordinary meeting of the council. For those who are listening, in the room, the ordinary meeting for May will be the 28th of May, as opposed to next Tuesday. Declarations of declaring conflicts of interest haven't been followed to banning. Again, councillors, if there is due feel or you feel councillor, fellow councillor has a conflict, please raise that. Councillors, we move then to item number 3, which is the implementation of smart testing inspection program, sewage system tool, region, June and September 2024. And thank you, Joe. Okay. Still on in. Agree with that. Seems like only yesterday we were meeting. Very simple things. So thank you. Oh, what is councils?
Section 1 grants to allow council to actually to inspect so the smart testing is to identify areas where we may be in school, others through damage, not through that will then be used to formulate any package or religious program to go through to payments
Got a few more as well. Councillor, very questions in regard to this essential, quite procedural in this nature. I guess the main point is the locations where these will be. So you do want to explain where they
are. The areas are actually in the process to the good result of the process. I feel it's primarily to the science of politics and in marine land both the west, the northwestern and southwestern edges of the region. These are areas that have been identified through mapping systems as having potential issues regarding places that have been done through testing to identify any potential issues with the
Thanks very much. Are there any questions, councillors? Councillor
What's the basic cost
the
per household?
additional
Per household is now thinking, is that possible?
the process is when you find we pass that to our filming products. Rectification notice is issued to they in the time period in which we have a second ruling position and the third position is to remove
Great questions, actually. So, councillors, if there's no further questions, the motions are there before us, given that we have vision screen. Read this motion, number one, the selective inspection program in accordance with section 134 local government act 2001 under which authorised persons may enter residential properties for the purpose of inspecting gas sewer lines for faults or damage and find legal connections to sewers. Two, the selective inspection program commences on the 17th of June 2024 for a 3-month period and conclude on the 24th of September 2024. And three, that selective inspection program may be undertaken in any areas marked on attachments 1, 2 and 3 with the objective of determining faulty gas drainage connections and illegal stormwater entrance to sewers. That's obviously available on the council's website. If you search for agendas, agendas, you can find those maps there in the attachments. So that's the motion. Councillor moved by Councillor Trevor. So second by Councillor Carroll. Those in favour? That motion is carried. Thank you. Thanks very much, Phil. Again, Michael, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Okay. We move then, councillors, to item number 4, which is the Emu Creek Dam pre-feasibility investigation. Jake, got voting spot. There to go. Jake, are you speaking to me?
Yes, now it's the component, acknowledging the gracious components and assisting me all the information together and all the hard work, but I'm happy with the installation.
Thanks very much. Toby, would you like to have any comments or opening remarks? Back up to Toby said. Okay, councillors, questions, Councillor Rebecca?
Thanks, Mayor, through you. First of all, happy birthday back in June, Jake. Only 2 questions through you, Mayor. Firstly, Jake, when is the review of the military operating plan expected to be complete? And secondly, just want to go on notice, how is council actively seeking additional water availability beyond what we did with our submission?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you very much for the wishes, much appreciated. In relation to your first question, the information we received from the department around the consultation period 2026, which is approximately about the same time as the resource plan is become out of date. So we're anticipating to have the consultation process finalised, the drafting of the new plan put together, and in front of the respective representatives make a decision if we're to go in relation to what TRC is doing, the council may remember, those that were here, those that weren't, on around February of this year, council put forward a response to an initial request from the department about the Northern Resource Plan, and noting that council has both REST and perseverance dams exist within that plan area, and as part of that, council put together, the office put together a letter to the department outlining what we see and very keen to be part of the review on the Northern Resource Plan. Since that submission, our officers only last week on the 7th of May had a preliminary meeting with members of the department here in Toowoomba. The Northern Resource Plan team is going to be most likely led by the Toowoomba team, as the DPW has a lot of extensive water resources team here in Toowoomba, which is fantastic. And they were looking at a preliminary conversation about what's the data we might be able to provide them just to look input into their process. We again expressed a strong desire to remain in consultation or close consultation with the department, and any opportunity that we have, we will be attending briefings, we will be making sure that we're putting submissions together, because this, as identified in your vision, water security for the council for this region is the highest priority at the moment. So that will be the highest priority for the waste, and so we will continue to advocate where we can and ensure that as the Northern Resource Review progresses and different ideas come from different areas, and not just like the government areas and other users within the water scheme, we will try and get positions on those in the scheme so they're more beneficial for the council and others, which will make and bring them back to exchange through
So all that those conversations, base document that we refer to is our solution.
That's correct. So ultimately our outcome is to get more water for Toowoomba Regional Council through either many different mechanisms appropriate, whether it be through training, whether it be through modification, allocation, existing supplies, all of those bits and pieces. The outcome is to obtain more water for Toowoomba Regional Council.
Thanks, Councillor Kerry.
Thanks, Jim, thanks. Just a bit confusing the ongoing intention to the government track. Strikes me from in sense that she clearly indicates that there's no indication. Good. Which is raising the question of Greek currently now, so legal things so basically
That's really a comment, just that offers our recommendation. So is it different from the recommendation that you're suggesting? The recommendation says that in light of the response provides advantage that planned pre-feasibility of entry on hold or council seeks additional work availability through. So is it you're suggesting don't put it on hold, don't do anything, or?
I'm suggesting that we should engage with consultant to do investigation in the area. From any information
so I don't think you need to debate what I'm saying is that different to what the motion is saying? Is what you're saying different to what the motion says?
Well, I agree with the first part, but the second additional through we've mentioned in the meeting
That's a really good question.
So you can, I'll attempt to answer provide some commentary around it, John. So, water availability through the current plan doesn't allow for things like water trading. So the current plan doesn't facilitate the acquisition of allocation either up or downstream of other uses. Now, if under a future plan, the department was to provide a look at water trading as is seen in other water settings, it was appropriate, whether it be through water trading, whether it would be through multiplication allocation, the existing supplies, all of those bits and pieces. The outcome is still to obtain more for the
Thanks, Councillor Kerry.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks. Just a bit confusing the intention to have the track. Strikes me from massive in the sense that she clearly indicates that there's no indication. And including which is extended, raising the question of the Greek not the currently doubts or limits of things existing so that was from first interpretation is
that's really a comment, just that offers that recommendation. So is it different from the recommendation that you're suggesting? The recommendation says that in light of the response provides advantage that planned pre-feasibility of entry on hold or council seeks additional work availability through. So is it you're suggesting don't put it on hold, don't do anything, or?
I'm suggesting that we should engage with consultant to do investigation in the area. From any information that's been moved out.
So I don't think you need to debate what I'm saying is that different to what the motion is saying? Is what you're saying different to what the motion says?
Well, I agree with the first part, but the second additional through we've mentioned already.
That's a really good question. Jack, if you can.
Yeah, I'll attempt to answer provide some commentary around it, Sean. So, water availability through the current plan doesn't allow for things like water trade. So the current water plan doesn't facilitate the acquisition or allocation either up or downstream of other uses. Now, if under a future plan, the department was to provide or look at water trading as is seen in other water settings, that may provide council with the ability to require additional water. Now, where council might require that additional water is yet to be known, and will depend on the market. If it were to require additional water upstream of, say, Wagno, that may open up opportunities for other construction or storages or other things, just as much as if it was to require allocation out of Wagno. It may mean that existing costs incurred by council as by contractual volumes for SEQ might change as well. So the future for obtaining additional water out of that scheme, there is a possibility that that could occur. Now, that'll be up to the department and there will be in detail around those trading rules. But certainly from our perspective, we see that there should be or an opportunity for council to look to acquire allocations if it becomes possible to do so, which might reduce our financial burden in current the operation of the current system, or facilitate access to new water or alternative sources within the water resource plan, wherever those allocations are made. So I'm not suggesting that that this particular solution that you bring is going to go forwards, but the opportunity to look to acquire additional water is something that would necessitate the feasibility of future investment in infrastructure like the new brick or perhaps raising the rest of it.
So, does that mean you have to better water in relation to the review? You have to work with you just wait and see what you said.
Thank you, Councillor Schwan. Our preference is to be an informed advocate. So part of that information, the informed process of being an informed advocate is to undertake reviews and form opinions as to what the department may or may not be proposing. And some of that, I don't know what the department's likely to propose, may require some investigation, some data analysis and modelling on our behalf to demonstrate why certain training scheme or a certain idea that might come from the department that shouldn't be positive or negative for the project.
Being looking at the allocations for the areas downstream of the question.
From what I don't know the specific details, Councillor Sean, but from what I do know is that a number of those areas are running what's called regular scanning type allocations, so they're not fixed volumes. They're as and when may not become available. The department has some strong views as to what they see the future of those allocations, as I'm sure Irrigators also have some strong views as to what they see possibilities of those allocations.
And so,
Following that, further clarification, you mentioned that it's substantial in relation to possible plans. So I think we might proceed in order to sort of study
Councillor Schwan, the recommendation is that we would not proceed with the engagement of those of any consultants in relation to any direct. What we may do is, as and when items come to fruition through the Northern Resource Operation Plan review process, seek to get specific engagements related to specific items, so it's said to make sure that we are informed advocates for purposes of this review. would intend to try and keep councillors informed as reasonably possible in relation to those items through either committee information session or mechanisms, unless council requires further report on those activities. I would be looking to use other forums we have to keep council informed.
So perhaps Councillor Sean, very good point with regard to keep us informed in regards to the water plan, how that is, perhaps Dragon, you're talking about, totally instant. It might be a better thing for us to get a briefing as council at some stage, as to the process and what you have.
Permission through the Northern Regional Operational Plan review process seek to get specific engagements related to specific items that are set to make sure that we are informed advocates for purposes that are best served. I would intend to try and keep councillors informed as reasonably possible in relation to those items through either committee information session or mechanisms, unless council requires further report on those activities. I would be looking to use other forums that we have to keep council informed.
So perhaps Councillor Sean, very good point with regard to keep us informed in regards to the water plan, how that is, perhaps Dragon, you're talking about, totally instant. It might be a better thing for us to get a briefing as council at some stage, as to the process and what you have. From a council perspective, indeed from officers, etc. That's where you're coming from, Councillor Sean. Any other questions for councillors in regard to this item? Can you correct there? Pre-feasibility investigation. Councillor.
Yeah, if there's no further questions, I actually have an ultimate recommendation that's been stated first. And that is that the planned pre-feasibility study continue and continue, and the council advocates for additional availability through the review of the plan currently being taken.
So that is it's definitely an alternative. It's different from a different intent. It's there, which is at the moment it's put on hold until the review is done. Which was suggesting to Councillor rules that we continue on with the pre-feasibility study. Okay. That's that is the only option that we have there. If you were comfortable to move that motion, okay. And there is Councillor Jones, you're seconding that motion. Okay. Call for debate, councillors. This is an alternate motion. This is the motion. The alternative motion. This is the motion. It's the committee. Council officers provide a recommendation. There is an option for council to have another motion. This is the motion for. So, anyone wishing to speak against this motion? Councillor Sean. So, therefore, I give Councillor Rebecca an opportunity to speak before I go. Councillor Sean.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, councillors. So, I think that there are a couple of important words in the advice that we received from the department. And those are, as Councillor Shine mentioned, currently and existing. And the acting DG of the department, when she uses those words currently and existing, she is referring to the current allocations that are spelled out in the Morton plan. Now we know that Morton plan is exhaustive, that the water allocations currently in that plan are exhausted, and that's before there's a couple of million extra people who move to South East Queensland. The reason that they're doing that review is twofold. First of all, it's good practice every now and then to do a review of a major document, but also because the state government has a really big problem on its hands, and that is the review, the plan is exhausted, and there's millions of extra people going into the southeast corner. So there's going to have to be a major overhaul of that Morton plan. And that is why it's going to take, it started last year, a review, and the review is going to take years because it is so complicated, that water plan. And there are many, many variables in there. But what we know for sure is that there's going to have to be major change with it. And something is going to have to give. So we have advice that's been received based on the current plan. Meanwhile, Council has put in a submission saying, we want more water. Please consider, state government, Council's request that as you're doing this review, we would like an increased allocation. And that's because we know that we've got more water, more people coming into our region as well. And in our submission, we talk about we'd like more water, and we talk about new dams and increased capacity of our dams. And so my question that I'm concerned about is what if in a year or two's time, 6 months' time, the subject of water buybacks or water trading is suddenly at the front of the conversation, and Council stepped away from the table with this motion. We need to stay in that conversation. I'm not saying we race through and spend all the money on a consultant. This is a slow process. Goodness gracious me, we know that water infrastructure is a slow process. We might get months down the track and only spend a couple of $100. But we stay in that conversation because there are so many variables in this. What if there are buybacks? What if there's water trading? What if in October there's a change of government and the entire approach to water changes? These are all factors that are unknown at the moment, so it's premature for us, in my opinion, to do anything but just hold steady. Stay in the conversation, continue with our plan, and then that is based on our submission as well. We're asking for more water in our submission. We're asking for more water within Creek Dam. It's entirely consistent. We just need to stay firm. This submission is our advocacy piece. As the officer said, when they go into their meetings with the department, they use that submission as the basis for their conversations. So if we do something different to what I'm proposing here in this recommendation, it's inconsistent with our submission. So all I'm asking, not asking for anything radical here, we just hold the line, and the message that we're sending to the state government as they do that review is that we want more.
So, Councillor Rebecca, just before I go to Councillor Shulman, would you be comfortable, Councillor Rebecca, if we just add the words water catchment in the second review of just those specific? Councillor Shulman.
Well, thanks, Chair. To my point of view, I have no problem with running the line and waiting for the outcome of the review. That's what Councillor Nicholas, Councillor